Hello, I'm Martin, the founder of Capgo, and I would like to speak with you to explain to you in a video how Capgo and Live Update works in Capacitor. So the system is pretty simple. Like in your Capacitor app, you have a native code, which is the Swift or Android code, which is handling the shell of the app. And outside of that, you have your app, which is in HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So there are two of them. One part is required to do release on the app stores, which is the native part, because this is mandatory from app stores to each time you do a change on this side. So a setting, adding a plugin, a native plugin, stuff like that, configuration in native side, this require app store update and review. This is mandatory by the store, so you cannot bypass that. And other side, we have the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is the main part of your app, where the one you're working on and you want to focus on. This part has a rule into App Store and Google. I don't know for other platforms, but at least for these two, a rule in the App Store compliance rule who say like if you update HTML, JavaScript, or CSS, you are allowed to not go to review because they don't review it. So that's why basically Capgo exists and Ionic Appflow exists or Kappa or some Live Update exists is because this is allowed by platforms to bypass them. Basically, it's brought in the rules. So that's what we're doing basically. And how we do that? So we wrote a Capacitor plugin, which is a native code, and this native code do a few things. Basically, he reach a server, which is the Capgo server, and ask for, with the current update he has locally, do the update available for me, yes or no? If the answer is yes from the server, then the plugin will start the download. So this request happen each time by default in Capgo, each time user open the app. He requests in the background, so it's not preventing the user to do anything, it's in the background. He requests to our server, I have an update to download. And depending on your settings, what did you send, lately on Capgo, he will say yes or no. So if they say yes, a download will start in the background of the users. So that's why it's very important to have lightweight updates, and we are working into partial updates to be able to update only one file in your bundle instead of your whole bundle, because this happens in the background of when the user is using the app, and he cannot say yes or no, so it's important to don't waste his bandwidth, because it's still not unlimited in this world for mobile phone compared to home. So when the download happen, it happen in the background, and by default, we have different settings, but by default, the update will only happen when the user closes the app. It don't need to kill it, it just close it in the background, and that's where we're gonna put the new update in place, and this update will put him back to the home of your app, because right now we have no way to be sure in the next update the same path will be available. So by default we reset to the home of the app. So that's why it's important for us to update at the right moment, because we don't want to kill the journey of a user. If, for example, you were doing an update while he was doing something and you reset him to the home, it will be bad. So we do that for now in the background, or optionally, we have many options to let you do the update at the time you want. For example, you want to show a pop-up to a user to confirm with him, stuff like that. You can do it in Capgo. We have many options also if you don't want to have like the update done automatically. For example, we have some users, they put on top of Capgo a check first in their server, then they have more control over the flow of update. This is possible. So you have many things you can do like that. On the other side, so we have talked about the experience of live update here. What happened in the flow? There are also, like we've talked about the good case where the update works, but what happens if those don't work? For example, if the update crash for whatever reason, the JavaScript crash, if it crash before the moment you have called app notify app ready, which is the function we give you and we ask you to put in your code, if it crash before that, then automatically the plugin will, after a certain timeout, which is by default, I think, 10 seconds, after 10 seconds, it will look for do this call have been done. If not, I will revert to the previous working version to be sure like we don't let the user in a state where the app doesn't work. So that's why this function is super helpful and has to be done manually by you, because we want you to put it at the perfect place for you, you want to be sure your bundle is working. So not so long, because you need to it happen in 10 seconds, but at a point everything is load for you. So that's where you have to put this function. Better you put it, better you will save your users a journey to have the reset happening when you want. In Capgo, by default, we have a system of channels. So you have a production channel, let's say, and this channel is public, we call it public. And so you can have only one channel public if he has the two platforms, or two channel public if you put Android and iOS in each allowed and not allowed. Each channel is allowed only one platform. You can have two. So that's how your users will get by default the update. After that, we have other system where you can set channel, for example, into the app or from your backend towards our API to assign users to a different channel. For example, you can assign your team members to a channel development, and they will receive updates of development faster than you can send test flight, for example. And I'm not even talking about Android One, because I never understood when and how it's happened. This update is so messy on Android if you want to do internal testing. So yeah, you can manage that for your users. And lately we have also released something named, I think, default channel in the plugin, who allow you to build a native app where the channel is enforced in it. And this helps you, so it's not for production, but it will help you for staging environment to be sure the users always request the channel. Because before, we had some users creating the set channel. They were calling it at the beginning of the load and the app, but you still load the local version. So you could, meanwhile you call set channel, have a race condition where the app already asks the server if the update is available, and by default it will be with the default channel, so it will receive potentially an update from production. It will be lost in staging, testing, production. It's not what we want. So lately we've released this new feature who allows us to set it in the code to be sure any requests from Capgo are set with this channel. If you do that, you cannot set channel and overwrite it. That will be the only way, and it will always be applied unless you disable in your channel, like for example in the stage channel, you disable the fact user can self associate, like device can self-associate. Imagine, for example, you ship that in production by mistake, you can still disable it in Capgo side to be sure your users are safe. Most of the decisions we took in Capgo are to say the server of Capgo is the source of trust, because we want to be sure if you set something into the code of the app and you have like there are a delay between releases allowed in the native part, we want to be sure you can undo things. So for example, if you have a problem with a live update or an update you push in Capgo, you can disable it. If you stop the channel to be public, then no more updates. So you have a lot of control in remote to your app, and which is for us very important, and we try to make it as much as possible server-side decision instead of local decision. For example, there are many people, because Capgo is fully open source, so everything, or backend, or frontend, or plugin, everything is open source, because I truly believe in open source. Most of my work, everything like Capgo, Capacitor is open source, so I truly believe in that. And many people use also our plugin on their own, because for Capgo is very practical, but some region, for example, Asian region or US, since Capgo is located in Europe and RGPD doesn't work well, some users prefer to host themselves. We're gonna open probably companies there to help them as well, but right now we can't. And also some people implement like very custom logic around that. But this is as a risk. If you implement, for example, custom logic, probably you will do it in JavaScript into the app. So that's mean you shipping the system will self-update. And when you do that, this is very dangerous because right now we're not touching a lot, for example, in Capgo, the code in the plugin, because this is the dangerous place. If you send a problem into your user's code, you cannot change it easily because usually pushing an update to 90% of your users takes a month in App Store normal path. If you do it with live update, it takes a week. I mean, we're talking about your active users. So people who have opened the app in the month, they have a chance to get the update in a week in Capgo and in a month in normal App Store compliance, because there are many conditions to get a new update in normal App Store. Your phone has to be plugged, your phone has to be in Wi-Fi in the same time, it has to be not used by the user in the same time, and it has to have space enough. And for Android, for example, it's a lot of struggle where for us, when we send only the JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, it can be like most of data between 5 to 15 megabytes, and this makes it super easy for us to send updates compared to minimum when you send a native update, it's like 30 megabytes on Android and less in iOS, but on Android it's a bit more, which is more problematic. So by this, we are able to send more updates more often to users and faster, way faster. Because I'm talking about 1 week to have 90% of your monthly active users getting the update. But I believe you will have like more than 50% of your users having it the same day, where in app stores it will take the review time, so probably 1-2 days minimum, if you have luck, and then the update time, which is way longer. For example, on Apple, an update is validated and it takes a day or more to be available on every app store in the world, if you push on every app store, and in Google it takes almost the same, and then the phone will get it. For example, you have often users, if you show them the model like of the native update, this is a different plugin made by Capacitor, where say hello to them, very nice. Robin, he do an amazing work also in the Capacitor community. So this model can show up, and when you click, the user will be redirected to the store, and he will like have or not have the update, depends. But it takes time. It takes time. It's very frustrating. That's why I created Capgo. Basically, I was frustrating. I had some problem to release my my updates. I shipped basically a bug in production long time ago on my CrossFit app, and I had to fix it right away. Like everyone was complaining, nothing was working for them. I was very mad at me. That happened. The QA didn't work well, and then Apple refused my update for basically an unrelated reason, like some privacy things I didn't do correctly. But this was accepted for months until one day, the day I really need a fast update, they asked me to fix that, and it took me a week to understand what they wanted, because that wasn't related to a platform I was using, a sub-provider and stuff like that, so it was very, very long. And I lost money this day, this week. I lost a lot of money, so I created Capgo from this frustration. I wanted to use Appflow. Appflow was way too expensive because I was not using CI/CD. Now I'm using CI/CD, but just on GitHub Action, and you have some tutorial in Capgo if you want. But yeah, I wasn't using CI/CD, and I had way more users for them compared to the money it cost to do the updates. So I thought it was too expensive, and that was for me, because the package was too big. And so I created Capgo out of that. I asked in the community if people wanted to have something like that. Many people were with me, so I created it, open sourced it, and created a business around that, which is now my main income. And on the side, I'm still helping a company who do Capacitor app to do better, because I'm doing mobile apps in Cordova and Capacitor since 10 years. Capacitor arrived not in 10 years, it was like later than that, but yeah, I started even before Cordova something with Intel platform, I don't remember, then I switched to Cordova, and then arrived to Capacitor, where I'm very happy about this platform. This is an amazing platform, it gives us a lot of freedom compared to anything else. Like I even saw like an helped company to switch from React Native to Capacitor because it gives them more freedom with React, for example, just React, and Capacitor is more powerful in many ways than React Native. I mean, if you're doing Snapchat, for sure, neither of React Native or Capacitor is a good option, but in many apps, when you do like e-commerce, stuff like that, and you can reuse your code from your main website, this is super helpful. And so that's what I'm pushing. I'm trying to help company to ship faster, connect faster to the users, and update them faster without having a big team, native team, where iOS developers and Android developer. And I believe in the future, I would love to have more team members in Capgo to help company to do the native side and just focus themselves on the website. That's one of my future ideas. Thank you for listening, and I see you on the Discord community or anywhere. I'm very happy about this kind of video starting. I will do way more to explain other things in the company, how it works, and how you can do better in Capacitor. Bye.